have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. I'm all out of bubblegum.
Captain's log. Captain's log. Captain's log.
Just looking around here, I can tell you're a genuinely dirty person.
I thought anybody could forget so much so fast without a severe blow to the head.
Give us that again. Can you do that again? And you go. Bags of soup. That's amazing. How did you do that? Soup for my family.
All right. Stop right there, and I'll bring back the sun.
All right, okay. I couldn't find it. I was starting the software and then it wouldn't start. And hi, welcome everyone to hellsparks.live/Twitch TV hellsparks/whatever. Hello. First of all, it is Friday, if that means anything to anyone anymore. Even people who maybe used to work for the weekend are just grateful to have a job, myself included, by the way. Thank you for joining us every day. I'm constantly amazed and impressed and aware that I am blessed by your presence. So thank you for that, especially on a day like today. Now, I thought back and forth about what to cover today simply because it's the anniversary of 9/11. And there's a lot of weight on that, not just what happened and the people that died, but also the weight of our reaction to it. And I've always been of the belief, and I think a lot of people follow me on this one, that had there been a different president when 9/11 occurred, or on 9/11/2001, there's a question that 9/11 would have happened at all, and B, certainly a belief that we wouldn't have dove straight into war in Afghanistan and Iraq. We would have followed sort of an international law enforcement approach to it, and saved us all the pain and suffering of sending our soldiers over there to die for a long time. I think the ability to manage yourself and manage that the Motang clan, is that what we are now? The ability to manage yourself in those situations and know what your knee-jerk reaction is, and know that, by the way, that it's not necessarily wrong. You know, it's a naturally occurring impulse when something so horrible like that happens to react, even with violence. But part of the beauty of humanity is when we can act above and beyond our natural instinct in those moments, to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, as it were. And so, yes, Motang Wula, Yosemites assemble. I'm going to have to put an entire, like...
Yosemites.
We're, by the way, I think... CSL, I think you sent me the link for that soundbite. I have to keep that. Is it in the same box? I always get confused because I'm terrible. I'm awful with email. I hate it with the heat of 1,000 suns. I really do. It's brutal how much I hate it. But let's see. Yeah. So I think it's in there. And I opened up the $20 Patreon thing because we had run out of those, and now there are more. So if you choose to join at that level, you may, or if you want to bump up to that level, you may now. It's actually there. And there's also a thing where people can support annually, in case you want to do it in one fell swoop and just not think about it every time I bring it up. I'm fine, Jeff. I am a little under the weather, but not illness-wise, just exhaustion. I am under the hurricane of stuff and dust, because there was tile laid in this place before we moved in, and there is fine gritty dust everywhere, like this hyper light powder. Thank you, Jeff Nine Cow. So I wake up some mornings, and then as I'm hanging around, it gets built up a little. I get a little phlegmy, but I'm all right. Yes, everyone, raise your glass of Motang. We're done with the move. We're just patching up the holes in the old place because neither Summer nor I feel good about leaving. All the camera and light mounts that I had in the studio before, which I'm yet to put in here. These just came in the mail. These guys, they basically are just little things so I can mount the lights that I need to the wall. It rivets to the wall like that, yeah. And then I can light it. I still don't have lights right here like I did in the other place. I'm just running off the ring light, which doesn't look half bad, but it doesn't like the green screen enough, so I get this splotch up here. I know it doesn't matter to most people, but it does to me, and you guys deserve it, and I want it to always be better. So there, it gives me something to putter with when I'm not talking to you, which is the fun part of my day. So that being said, yeah, there's also smoke and all kinds of crap coming from California this way as well. Hey, Gonzo, welcome. How are you, buddy? Hi, Norman. I salute you, Gonzo. More soup. Yes, there must always be more soup.
People coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup.
Can't stop lying. If you're sitting in front of your computer, send me a link again to the storage for the clip stuff, because I can't find it in my computer shut down on its own last night, and I walked back in because I usually just let it sleep as opposed to shut it down to preserve battery, and it shut down on its own, and it was like, oh no, I need a solid nap tonight. Yeah. Oh, we're avoiding the fires. I have to drive into it though next week, depending on where it's gonna come. So get in your own. I should, but I don't. So that might be me. Whoa, that was weird. All my screens just blinked. Crazy pants. What's going on? We'll figure it out. Okay, I'll find it. Fear not. Okay, so there isn't a ton of stuff today, I will say, and I don't, because it's 9/11, I don't want to go into it too much. However, there is clearly there are a couple of things to get at. The one that bothered me the most, and I have to bring this one up and then bring it on screen, is Trump's Pledge of Allegiance today. Because that, of all the things, for crying out loud, how many times did he kvetch under God and them not saying it? He even said, like, in the tweets about it. Here, I'll show you. So, we'll go to here. We'll go to here. That when I bring up when I actually add the videos to it, you know, he was making a big deal out of the fact that the LGBT and the which was the other group that did it? It was one of the caucuses, like two of the caucuses did it. The Muslim one, right? So the Muslim caucus and the LGBT caucus, both of them took out under God and the Pledge of Allegiance during the caucuses. During the actual broadcast, during the actual meetings, all the major groups constantly, and he made a big deal out of that. Remember that? Into another nation, united under God, made an unbreakable promise, never forget. Notice united under God, which is like he's so hammering this home, right? They constantly do this. And then this happens. First of all, I swear to God, he looks, why are you going away? Come back. Come back. Come back, weird Twitter page. What's wrong with you? It's funny how they reload sometimes. There you go. This is so weird. Here you go. Let's see if we can hear that. This guy, and they're late on they're late on the uptake. So he starts, I pledge allegiance, and then they go for it. Like you don't know it's coming. I see this all the time when people are in a crowd and they don't know the people that are participating in the event are about to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody who is participating knows that's on the schedule, especially if you're making a big deal of it the whole time, right? Now, full disclosure, as a Freemason, hi there, we say the Pledge of Allegiance before our meetings out of respect for our country. Yeah, we say the Pledge of Allegiance all the way through with the under God and everything. Yeah. Every Freemason can recite the Pledge of Allegiance because they say it at least every stated and definitely every other meeting that they have. Like we do it all the time, right? So, if you don't remember it from school and you haven't watched enough of these things, you would have no excuse. There is no. Is that before we start bashing Catholics? No. We start well before then. But yeah, so we say it as grown-ups all the time. And I think most adults, if you're not in the military and you're not in public service, or you're not a public school teacher, or in those situations, you're probably not going to say it that often, right? You're not going to, it's just not going to, you don't do it, Google doesn't do it at the start of every work day or anything like that. It's, Yeah, bicycle, Mike, will you please clean the floors of the forest so that they don't burst into flames? Thank you. Let us know if you need a vacuum. So, Trump makes this big deal about they took under God out. Now, one would expect that in this in this circumstance, that once this comes around, at the first and every opportunity, especially between now and the election, you would full-on hammer that under God part. Like, if you are saying any of it, you could flub we pledge allegiance, you could to the flag. Well, flag would be hard because of all the whole, like, we respect our flag. It would be a little hard. So you'd hammer flag, certainly. To the United States of America. He doesn't really believe in the united aspect. I mean, there's Democrat-run states and cities, and they can burn as far as he's concerned. So there, you could expect him to flub that. But when you get to the under God part, you'd think he would hit that with a big rubber mallet, right? Of all things. Hey, Al, new report, Trump busted for stealing millions from 9/11 firefighters fund. Oh my God, please send me a link. I'm an atheist. I still know the whole pledge. I do usually skip the under God as it does not apply to my beliefs. I do not complain when others do or not say it. Yeah, that's what's great about America. And unter Odin, you can say that, absolutely. I'm of the belief that Zeus and Odin are actually cut from the same cloth. They're basically the same god. If you watch, you see how they lay out in the substructure of their demigods and all that stuff. It's basically the same. Oh, thank you very much. I will empty the tip jar so that you guys can fill it. It always takes a little time. Like, I almost have to hit that button like 3 times before it dumps it, and I don't quite know why. But maybe it just takes a while to think about it. Thank you for the hype trains, everybody. It's fantastic. We got 215 people in here, and it's a blessing. And hi, everybody over on Facebook. Mind your manners. And here's what I will say to those who are of an opposing view who are gathering with us today, okay? I love my country. I love America. I love what it stands for. I love our Constitution. I believe that even though the Founding Fathers, many of them, not all of them, by the way, not even more than 50%, were slaveholders, so less than 50% were slaveholders, even though which they grew up in, by the way. It's real easy to be against slavery when you didn't grow up with it, 3 generations deep in your family. But the fact that these guys wrote an aspirational declaration of how life should be, even though it wasn't there yet, is what's more extraordinary about it. The Constitution itself is extraordinary not for what it promises or what it guarantees or what it establishes, but for the newness of all of those things. And it was, by the way, British and American boats sinking Dutch slave ships and African slave ships off the coast of Brazil and stopping the slave trade over time. So as much as there's a history of the slave trade over here, slavery has been in every culture throughout the world. Native Americans still had slaves past the end of the Civil War here in the United States. The word slave itself comes from Slav, as in Slavic, because Eastern Europeans were enslaved so frequently that that became the nickname for slaves. So I can recognize the healing that our country has to do and the curse of slavery, but also recognize the power of the affirmation of a belief system that would eventually lay the seeds so that we would end that kind of thing, written by people who grew up in it. And if you believe that somebody should get out of prison after they've paid their debt to society, or you believe that somebody can, find Jesus in prison or whatever, thank you, Can't Stop Lying, then you have to also recognize that the Founding Fathers and the people about that who grew up in a situation, who lived in a system like that, sought a better system beyond itself. And that in and of itself is extraordinary. Anyways, I'm not incapable of recognizing our faults, but recognizing that the aspiration of this country is a gift to all mankind. Do you understand? because it was largely the British and the Americans and somewhat the Canadians because of they were owned by the British, technically still under the sovereign, as it were, that ended ended chattel slavery by the spilling of our own blood. No other country in the world fought a war within its own borders to stop slavery. Find one. You won't. All the other countries were like, either they hadn't had slavery for a while. In the case of England, they were working on getting rid of it and improving it about the same time, or the slave trade had been driven out of them by the fact that the British and the Americans weren't allowing it to happen. So, I mean, this is a big deal. It's and it's a part of our history that we have to come to terms with. But you can recognize the damage done by it and seek ways to eliminate all the intrinsic damage that was carried forth from it, redlining, those kind of things that were, also born out of the trade, while still understanding that the flag represents the better part of this. And that's why when Colin Kaepernick or somebody else kneels, in front of the flag, what they're saying is that flag is being misrepresented. It does not live up. It is not living up to the standards by which it should be held. Now, that's it. So if you're new here and you think you're going to find some sort of like, burn it all down, I don't care if anybody dies, right? You're in the wrong place. They're digging in the wrong place. I am the monarch of the sea. I am the ruler of the... All right. Indy, I'm so glad you're not dead. So you would think, China's using slave labor now, no question. The Uyghurs are absolutely doing slave labor. Most of their coal plants are run by prisoners, political prisoners largely. So, Eritrea has a terrible slavery problem right now. So, snakes, asps, very dangerous. You go first. So if you're going to talk about slavery, by the way, it would be good to address the ongoing slavery that exists in the world. We have softened that. Thank you, JMC. We have softened that by calling it human trafficking, by the way. Human trafficking is slavery. It's slavery. Human trafficking makes, it kind of goes back, back to when, Carlin was talking about how we soften words and we went from shell shock to battle fatigue to post-traumatic stress disorder, and it takes all the life out of it. And maybe if we called it shell shock, people would get more help. Human trafficking is slavery. It's ongoing. And so stamping out the slave trade would be, we have a slavery problem in our prisons. No, we do not. It is an entirely different thing. We do not have a slavery problem in our at all. Yes, Trump is definitely orange. I don't think that's what she's looking at. Yes, slavery. Period. Calling it slavery might actually, human trafficking just softens it. So, and Trump has no problem with making friends with traffickers. Absolutely not. I don't know why we don't just call it slavery, honestly. These are and if we talked about it like that, I think people would be more, because human trafficking, like, oh, that's terrible. It must not happen very much. But if you, Arkansas prisons are like they might feel like they are, but they are not. Everybody who works in a prison gets either, they're doing it to get shorter time or more privileges. They don't have to do that work. They can just do their time, eat their food, and wait it out. But if you do any work and you get a job within prison and you're working for $8 a month, that's to buy you other stuff. Your food and your lodging and your medical care are all taken care of while you are there. The $8 that you're getting as a wage is not a wage. And if you want to count it as a wage, then what would be the living wage that would be necessary to provide you with full health care and lodging and 3 meals a day? Like that, I won't, like, that whole argument, I hear it all the time, and it's just silly. For-profit prisons are bad. They are, no question. but that's a totally different argument. That's a totally and there's a reason why you have state and federal penitentiaries and state and federal governments pay for those, because then they have an impetus not to spend tax dollars on jailing people who don't need it. There you go. That's it. All right, so let's proceed. This is a good long conversation, and it's worth having. But let's listen to while he. By the way, he's getting full on karaoke for this thing. You know, he's got somebody saying it right next to him. You can mouth these words even if you only know the remnants of them. Yeah, so listen to this.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Did anybody see an under God there? Did anyone see an under God there anywhere? This is ridiculous.
Under God.
Nothing. Frigging nothing.
Under God. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Like he barely moves his bottom lip, but he bails on it. Like I swear to God, it's weird, isn't it? It's like it's one thing to go, okay, I'm going to say it or not say it.
The United States of America.
And by the way, for the record, the proper behavior when you hear the pledge is to say the pledge with everyone. That's proper etiquette, especially on a day like 9/11 or Memorial Day or at a veteran cemetery or, you know, at the funeral of a military or, you know, or a police officer or a governor or judge or at John Lewis's funeral, those kind of things. You say it together. You don't mumble it or half-ass it like you're at a ballpark. But this is
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And just bored shitless. Just pitiful. So I'm going to see if I can find it. And I might have to find it on, Trump says that as Biden's doing drugs. This was from, I guess this is an upcoming Judge Jeanine interview. Yeah. So and again, Aaron, like, I didn't see this on Fox, like the actual interview itself, but here he's talking to Judge Jeanine and he's doing accordion hands like crazy. So this is, I mean, have we figured out, I mean, because this is the whole, like, try to keep the conversation where I want to keep it. That's what I think these hands are. This is no, put you down, honk, survey says. like he's ringing in on a game show, you know, that business. Like, stop in the name of lies, you know. Yeah, that interview airs Saturday. Yeah, it figures, Philly Dana. So this is just the lead piece of it, like they dropped to the Chris Wallace stuff. They, you know, this is like just the tip of it. Next, Trump will be saying that Joe Biden has been replaced with a double. Okay, let me be abundantly clear. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but Biden is clearly better fighting an enemy or someone he views as a genuine opponent than he is arguing with his own. He's a bridge builder. That's why he's good at his job. That's why people like him. That's why Lindsey Graham, before he, you know, they got whatever pictures off the RNC server that were stored there. Lindsey Graham even said he loved him. He said, if you don't love Joe Biden, there's something wrong with you. Like, there's a reason for that. And it's because Joe Biden has a hard time stepping on people he considers either on his side or, you know, his junior or below him, you know, in terms of rank and that kind of stuff, because it looks like a power move, you know. I mean, there's a dozen reasons why you don't talk angrily with people, especially on your side, but also, like, especially if you're trying to help people come up and you're trying to be balanced in what you're saying. And he would often go, "That's okay, I've overstepped my time," or whatever. Like, yeah, he's not a bully. It's just not how it worked. So so the original, when there's 12 people on stage, it's hard for him. Then he gets to Sanders, and Sanders has talked, and his followers have talked shit about Biden, and especially leading up to that, they were really talking about his like mental acuity and the fact that he has dementia and that he's obviously failing and all this kind of stuff. That was, I mean, Majority Report ran several shows on that. They couldn't stop talking about how he is. Oh, thanks, John. They couldn't stop talking about how Biden has dementia. Like it was almost like they got a nickel every time they did it. And yet he comes out and mops the floor with Bernie because now he's one-on-one with someone who is his final opponent for this, and this person has very distinct differences with him and has been saying, quite frankly, some fairly gnarly stuff about him. It's the Majority Report's the Sam Cedars show. Rest in peace, Michael Brooks. I disagreed with him on a lot of stuff, but poor guy. What a sad thing. And absolutely COVID related. They haven't, it was never officially done that way, but he had a thrombosis in his neck that just killed him. It was super sad. So, in all of this, everybody lined up to push this whole Biden. And by the way, Junior does it too. I'll show you the clip of Don Jr. saying it as well. But here's the clip of Trump on Judge Jeanine.
There's probably possibly drugs involved. That's what I.
Yeah, this is the dude who had a coke asteroid. Oh, thanks, I love beans. This is somebody who had a coke asteroid fly out of their nose the other day.
I mean, there's possibly drugs. I don't know how you can go from being so bad where you can't even get out a sentence. I mean, you saw some of those debates with the large number of people on the stage.
Yeah, because he didn't want to crap on the gay candidate and the people, the women of color and the men of color and the people who are, he was working with on bills just a week ago or, trying to get the cancer moonshot done.
I mean, I used to say, how is it possible that he can even go forward?
Yeah, we think that a lot about you.
There's probably possibly drugs involved. That's what.
That's it. What drug is it, and when will it be available on the market? Because if you're going from is it some sort of flowers for Algernon drug? Are we? Is this a whatever lawnmower man? Is it pill form? Do I have to go watch Limitless again? How are you? Am I? Is anybody really here? We don't know. Is everybody in? So let me find. There's Don Jr. talking about this nonsense as well. They're so convinced that he's on Biden's on drugs. And by the way, he's out pushing this. Whatchamacallit? I guess it's his book is called, where is it? Let me scroll it. Liberal Privilege, which, by the way, is it just me? First of all, but that is just crap graphics. It looks like, if I'm not wrong, this can't be a mistake. It looks like one of the Left Behind novels, doesn't it? Doesn't it look right? Hold on, let me. Right? So that's, it looks exactly like those. Oh yeah, yesterday Donald said Election Day was September 3rd, and they what if they declare Donald Trump the winner? Oh, hey, good day from Australia. Hello, good on you, fair dinkum. This is the wattle, the emblem of our land. You can put it in a bottle, you can hold it in your hand. Amen. Now, Padre, crack the tubes. Bruh, how are you, Bruce? Bit crook, Bruce. Who said that? The Queen did. She's a good Sheila and not at all stuck up. Woolah! Woolah does sound like an Australian, colloquialism. Voila. It does look like Kirk Cameron grew a beard and did Liberal Privilege. This is the fifth Left Behind novel. Like, how far behind were you guys left? We'll see if we can find it. Yeah. This is going to be on this page. We'll find it. By the way, this is what they have to do because they've set themselves up for a fail the same way. Where is it? You can't claim that you can't put you can't put the word, oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, here he is. Yeah, so this is it. Is your name not Bruce, and can we call you Bruce to keep it straight? Voila, Bruce. How are you, Bruce? Bit crook, Bruce.
Riots. I mean, Donald Trump condemns the riots, so they support them. I mean, they're literally...
Nobody supports the riots. Biden has called for arsonists, looters, and vandals to be arrested and jailed under the law, like you do, by local authorities and state authorities. If they cross a state line, then the feds get involved just for those cases, just like they track every other cross-state, any criminal or murderer or rapist or psychopath or vandal or thief that crosses state lines in their crime.
The Democrats, again, not one person mentioned them in the DNC.
Yeah, they just mentioned unrest because we're getting back to why won't they say radical Muslim terrorists, right?
If Donald Trump's again,
this is the new version of that.
To take exactly the opposite approach. Finally, Joe Biden, and it was like...
By the way, I'm going to watch his shirt. This kid grew up with his dad on television all the time. And I understand when you're completely coked out of your gourd, you don't make good wardrobe choices. But he's wearing a blue and white striped shirt with the super thin stripes, and it is moraying like crazy. How do you not know that? Well, that's, by the way, why, if you see someone in a striped shirt on camera, they're big, wide stripes or tiny little stripes far apart. Or why you wear a solid color shirt with no logos. I know it's a little thing, but come on. How do you not know? It looks like, honest to God, it looks like he's wearing a fish tank. Oh, quit it. Where'd it go? I don't want to reply to it. I want to play it, which is horrifying enough.
See what I mean? You saw that.
Look
you saw that
shirt.
with the riots. I mean, Donald Trump condemns the riots, so they support them.
What the hell is this dude doing? Oh, there's Travis. I can't. This is on. It's so much hard.
Because if Donald Trump's again, we have to take exactly the opposite approach. Finally, Joe Biden, and it was like a tepid response at best. Well, the riots aren't so good. He only said that after Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon are on CNN saying, "Oh man, it's starting to affect us in the poll numbers." That's the problem with the Democrats. They could solve some of these problems, but they're not interested in solving the problems because if you solve the problem, you can't campaign on victimhood.
You can't campaign on victimhood? Your dad thinks he should get an extra 4 years.
Can't campaign on it. So finally, when it's affecting his polls, nothing to see here for the first 3.
If I can't give Don Jr. fashion tips because I don't know how it's possible, but he's the only person in the world. Well, he and Alex Jones are the only people in the world who could grow a beard and make their chin look smaller.
Of it, there were wonderful peaceful protests with buildings, I guess, that spontaneously combusted in the background. Just total coincidence, of course.
Hans, Booby, I can give them to you.
But now it's affecting him in the polls. Now we got to come out against it. I mean, what kind of leadership is that? He came out of the basement to do this, to get a clip to make it seem like he hasn't been hiding in the basement. The day before that, he announces, well, I'm going to come out of hiding in 10 days to address it.
The day before he announces, I'm going to come out in 10 days, and then he's out the next day. Maybe they gave 10 days notice for a campaign event in another state so that the arrangements could be made. By the way, what aircraft hangar is your father going to bulldoze into illegally this weekend in Nevada?
10 days.
Home porn actor.
Is he just hiding because he's that incompetent, or is he just not capable of coming out of the basement? I mean, obviously, they'll question Trump's health at every turn, but when he's...
Well, especially today, honestly. Was he shot with an elephant dart? I don't know.
Not real.
Hunga munga.
issues, a real history of, his own doctor. He's not a healthy guy. I mean, read the chapter in there. You'd say, hold on, Jesus Christ. I mean, you think this guy's going to be there at 3 o'clock in the morning when something really goes down and you got to, will he be with it? Or what, are they giving him something so that he can appear even a little bit lucid or coherent, at times for the few seconds that they put him on air and the rest is
Yeah, it's a couple seconds. Yeah, they give him something. He appears lucid. Yeah, lucid just for a couple of minutes. So that hour plus debate that he's going to have with your dad that's coming up is, clearly you're totally safe. About 3 seconds in, the drugs are going to wear off. Biden won't have a chance, bro.
disaster. Is he physically not capable of being out more than once a week? Because
he's given 3 speeches this week and 5 interviews.
it sure looks like it to me, but no one's going to question it. I guess I had to.
Do they all go to the same, it's almost like they're dressing like, dude, I got a great idea. If we all commit the same crime in a different city and we have the same hairdo, and they photograph us, we'll just have people there say it's us. Like, is this the uniform now? Dude, you gotta part your hair the other way, otherwise people won't know you're gay. So I've got to part mine. Straight will mean this way, gay will mean that way, but basically we gotta have all the same beard. Deal? Deal. What is this? Yes, I did, Philly Dana. Yeah, I saw that. It's of no surprise. They do that all the time. Yeah, so such a ridiculous thing. Oh, I tried to empty the jar. I did it, and then wouldn't empty. Streamlabs, what's wrong with you? What's going on? By the way, hi Facebook. How you guys doing? Is this live streaming? No. Is it? Yeah, I guess so. Weird. This is, hold on. I'll see if I can do, I'll pull up Streamlabs as on their own site and all that stuff, and then I'll fix it myself. This is, and by the way, I also toyed with the idea of doing a moment of silence or something like that, but I have to say, a lot of times those feel incredibly inappropriate when they occur. And they've got to give me a security code, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I think they have value, absolutely. But I also think they have to be done with a certain amount of, I just don't like it when people go out there and do them and it seems self-congratulatory or look at me or, overtly proud of themselves for, I'm going to have everyone, it just feels weird. So here's what I would suggest and what I would request of you as viewers is sometime today, if you haven't already, when you're by yourself, have a moment of silence. Just sit there for a minute. Put it on your watch, time it if you want. But give yourself a minute to just really think about what people went through today, the ramifications of it since then, the military dead that we've had, the fact that we're having, a 9/11 every 3 days in this country right now. That, I would recommend that. Don't do it in conjunction with anything else. Do it because you believe it should be done on your own. Yeah? Hey, Hal, you think that you run the FBI? I believe so. No, I don't think they run the FBI. I think they've got something on bar, though. That's entirely possible. Let's see. All widgets. Where's the tip jar? There it is. And then it's working. It should be up at there. And then, where is it? Can you reset it? There you go. That should do it. Why is it not doing it? Clicked it. What's tip jar? What are you doing? You're supposed to be empty. You're supposed to empty you out. I'd try that. So anyways, that would be my recommendation. You do not have, by any means, to do it in lieu of. doing it in a group or what have you. But I would recommend on top of the act, just have that moment for yourself. That's all I'm saying. More than to hug like any of my students that feel more isolated at home than I do, but I can't even see them in person. Yeah. Well, one of the things that's going to happen, look up Meghan McCain bashing Harris today on The View. Okay. Meghan McCain bashes Harris on The View. Let's see if this... that's a while back. Today? Nope, nothing's found on there. It might just be on Twitter if I find it that way. My God, I still can't even, looking at that is so weird. It just looks like a mess. How do you throw around the Sleepy Joe thing and look this exhausted? And then... It's super odd. And your son is out, coked out of his gills. You don't get to claim that you have a lot of energy when you're clearly blasted on stimulants. We could do a moment as a group, Jennifer. I would rather not. You may, if you choose, in your own space, but I find, like I said, I would rather folks do this on their own after I'm done, after we're off air. I will do it by myself as well. Full disclosure, I already have. Earlier today, it's when I did. I just kind of sat down for a minute and just had a moment of contemplation. It's a good idea. Why isn't Melania doing it? Because she's not. Is that the real Melania, or is she a bot? I'm not quite sure. I think she's not doing it because she's trying to pay attention that if he blacks out, she might have to dive behind him and keep him from hitting the ground because it's in the prenup. Thanks, Audio Girl Jen. Yeah, that's the way to do it. So let's see. Let's see if we can find in here. Whoops. Quit it. There we go. So Meghan McCain. Oh, good.
As a conservative, I am always questioning big government. I'm always questioning our leaders. I think for the most part, everyone who works in D.C. is an idiot. And I remember being told that mass.
Your father worked in D.C.
Fine, I can travel safely, and the coronavirus was no worse than the flu for a long period of time. So there was a lot of misinformation. I will say...
There wasn't a lot of misinformation. There was a lot of ignorance. And he was lying at the time.
I heard that, Joy. Just let me finish, then you can talk.
Yeah, you can talk. Notice the prominent cross.
We'll say right now, a new CBS poll came out saying that 60% of the American public distrust President Trump on the coronavirus, but 65% distrust the media. And I think if we go back in time...
Yeah, for different reasons. This is like people who don't like the ACA. They're like 60% of Americans hated the ACA. Yeah. 30% were the Republicans who didn't think it should exist because it was socialized medicine. And the other 30% were the people who wanted Medicare for all and thought an all or nothing approach was the only way to go. That's not the same way as saying 60% of Americans are against the ACA. 60% of Americans are also against a hurricane hitting their house.
There was a period of time when Nancy Pelosi was going to Chinatown saying, come around here, that it's racist to close the borders, that it's racist to put a cap on China. And I think...
No, that's not what she said. That's not what he said. That's also Trump propaganda.
It's bad all the way around. But going to the initial point of this Bob Woodward interview, I cannot tell you the levels of insanity and stupidity you have to be in politics to give 18 hours to any journalist on the record, period. If Bob Woodward said, hey, Megan, what did you have for breakfast? I'd say, off the record, Bob, no comment. And then I would call my war room and I would call my spin room and I'd say, what does he want? What's going on? And what kind of angle does he have? Because as Republicans, this is almost famous all the time. They're the enemy and they are here to make you look bad. So the idea that you're going to let literally a shark coming in the White House.
Enemy.
What do you think's going to happen? For a Republican, the media is. I would never let my principal ever, under any circumstances, do an on-the-record interview with someone like Bob Woodward for a book. Sorry,
Senator McCoskell said he's too stupid to be president.
What I was going to say, Megan,
saw her
is
yesterday. She was good.
You can't read that article without thinking, being slightly.
Mm-hmm. I'm still looking for that that piece in there, but that was, let's see. Yeah, this is when she talks about Melania's friend for that tell-all book too, which is gorgeous in and of itself. Oh God, turnover abortion dwarfed by a need to beat Trump. Agreed. There's so many of these. This whole like laid back on one arm kind of situation and people's memes. Must you look like a supervillain? Must you look like the mean girl with Death Ray? Is that a look? Is that an improved look? Yeah, it's so weird. All right, I'm going back to me. I'll find a better one. Yeah, it's way too much Meghan McCain. Hello, Billy Grigg. How are you? Let's see. This is so weird. We're just kind of freeloading it, freeballing it today. What are we going to call it? Because neither one of them is campaigning technically, and just that that clip of that interview came out today specifically. See, and we did so much yesterday. Oh my God. Like, I feel like we need just one day of, we'll just do a single hour today if that's okay with everybody. And I'll spend the next hour like gathering all my clips and putting, it is Scottish. You're right, Billy Greg. So is Meghan purposefully unlikable? I wouldn't think so. Harley Quinn hair. Yeah. What about the Young Turks? Oh God. I don't, I mean, there could be a huge, this is, okay, so here's their, this is the latest from the Young Turks, shall we? Shall we just look at what they've got? Trump withholds 9/11 funds, wildfires rage on, Trump loves TV, Pence talks to QAnon. That's their, their main takeaways. Trump loves TV. These are, Bob Woodward's pathetic excuse for holding Trump coronavirus tapes. Let's see. Tucker Carlson, Woodward's Trump book is Lindsey Graham's fault. Trump aides start finger pointing at who let him talk to Bob Woodward. Trump tries to explain lying about coronavirus threat in February. Okay. Trump's cabinet wanted to oust him. Yeah, that's the same as everybody was running. Like, this is your alternative news. They're basically doing the same thing MSNBC was doing yesterday. At least he quits over Daniel Prude backlash. Proof Trump knew about coronavirus in early February. Bob Woodward tapes. And then, of course, 5 videos later, they're attacking Woodward. Whistleblower. Trump forced intelligence community to lie about Antifa. That's the takeaway of the whistleblower report? Okay. Trump using taxpayer money to pay for sexual assault defense. Again, these are all stories that we've seen in the net, and then they're replaying these. These are the runs again. Candace Owens wrecked by Cardi B. Clashing protesters results in deadly shooting. Yeah, and I'm guessing this, and that's the guy who was shot dead, by the way. Most of the time, it's a lot of self-congratulatory stuff. But why would you go? Of the videos you post, you have one about Trump lying. Yeah, you put up 5 videos yesterday. They all went up yesterday. Oh, that's live. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So 5 videos were put up yesterday. These are the ones. One of them is Trump tries to explain lying about coronavirus threat in February. Tries to explain lying. I mean, if I were I would say Trump lies about lying about coronavirus in February, not tries to explain. He's trying to explain. Trump's cabinet wanted to oust him. Sounds like something a right-wing website would put up, going, uh-oh, the deep state's coming for Trump. Then you got 3 other Trump aides start finger-pointing at who let him talk to Bob Woodward. And Tucker Carlson, Woodward's Trump book is Lindsey Graham's fault. These all look like right-wing headlines. This is stuff that Drudge would put up. Bob Woodward's pathetic excuse for holding Trump coronavirus tapes. Right? They're terrible. And they also point to the fact that even the one that says Trump lied, and it's in caps, Trump tries to explain lying about coronavirus threat in February, as if there's an explanation. And here's proof Trump knew about coronavirus threat in early February, Bob Woodward tapes. We all knew coronavirus was a threat in early February. They had already shut down the country about that. But he knew it was deadly. You see what I'm saying? Like, all this it softens it. And I don't know why. And by the way, Trump using taxpayer money to pay for sexual assault defense? For his sexual assault defense. Why would you leave the word his off? You know what I mean? What the hell? And then again, the rest of these look like the deep state's coming for this, and this Candace Owen wrecked by Cardi B. Like, who gives a rat's ass? Honestly, it's just YouTube on YouTube fighting. Look at this. Why Republicans' message is so effective 1 week ago. Trump goes after Fox News for reporting losers and suckers comments. That sounds like something a right-wing website would write. Ed Markey defeats Joe Kennedy III. Woo! Teen arrested for murder of Jacob Blake protesters. The Jacob Blake protesters weren't Jacob Blake protesters. They were arsonists and people just taking advantage of it. They didn't give a shit about Jacob Blake. Why would you burn down a gas station? What the hell did that have to do with Jacob Blake's thing? The RNC's most hateful speeches. All right. There's one that I would count as okay. Whistleblower. Trump forced intelligence community to lie about Antifa. All right. Yeah, we saw that one. Trump to start arresting political opponents. That could be a Q headline. Are they trying to draw in the right wing? Is that what it is? Like they put these up so that right wing will click on them because they can't tell if it's good or bad? Trump to fire Defense Secretary Mark Esper? AOC shreds Nancy Pelosi for betrayal. Wow. Special guest has sent to TYT a video wishing Bernie Sanders a happy birthday. Cenk Uygur discusses on the Young Turks. Oh, they filmed him at one of these events. Could you wish Bernie Sanders a happy birthday? What? They're now what? TMZ? Yeah. Look at this right here. Here's Biden calls fallen soldiers losers and suckers. Dead on story. You can't miss it. It's all over the place. It's going to get clicks. And Biden gets terrible advice is the second video under that. Christ, man. What the hell is wrong with you guys? Do we go live to them? See what they're doing live? Shall we? Is that a dick move? We got a couple minutes. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this. No. They're on break or something? No? There's music. They're live. They're doing some sort of thing. The conversation. Then they're going to this. I don't know what this is. Oh, this. Where are they? Is this live? This is the tail end of live? Oh, they weren't live.
Like they chucked me to convince us as far as
California as the first major fossil fuel producing region in the
left party of this country. It's horrifying, quite frankly. And it's hard to justify Pelosi's speakership. It's harder and harder by the day to justify her in that position and in that job. She's just proven herself ever since she re-won the position to be completely incompetent. And
this is the hill to die on. This is, by the way, this is the left. Because we need more women in power positions.
Overmatched by the job.
Yeah, but you know what, Waz? To be fair, she does perform a mean, sarcastic clap. And have you seen her rip up a speech? It really speaks to me. It's inspiring
man,
stuff.
she looks good in kente cloth. I gotta give it to her. She looks damn good.
So they're mocking the clap and the speech tear up and the kente cloth. And why did Dave Rubin leave? Is my question.
Kente cloth.
She's just so embarrassing. Tia.
There you go. This is the chat point for the left on YouTube today. It's 9/11, 53 days to an election where Donald Trump is literally has called our soldiers losers and suckers and lied about the impact of the virus killing 150,000 more people than need die in any kind of situation like this. And this is what they're going for.
Mala from our members section writes in, and you can become a member at TYT by going.
Great, that's so fun. Become a member, guys.
TYT.com/join.
Yeah, just do it.
I live in Seattle, and the smoke is so bad I can barely breathe. It was hard enough to leave the house because of COVID, but now I can't even go check the mail or for a walk on the trail. Yeah, I totally agree with you, and stay safe.
I totally agree with you that it's smoky outside. How the hell would you know? You're in LA. Yeah, I know they wanted AOC and Bernie. I don't have a problem with people who like AOC in office and Bernie in office and support them and all that stuff. That's not the problem. The problem is, what the hell is that? What's wrong with you?
Out there. The thing that's really been keeping me sane during COVID is being able to go out for a super long walk after work, go on a hike. And now that we're just all kind of stuck at home, it is really, really hard. But
yeah, I know. I miss hiking. Don't you guys miss hiking?
We really need to organize and hold people like Pelosi accountable. And she's
why for the wildfires?
Not the only one.
No, she's not. Okay, who else is to blame? Are there other women in power you want to take a dump on?
I thought it was really interesting when Obama tweeted about the wildfires as well.
Oh, okay, good. I'm sorry. First black president. I didn't think we were going to go. That was the attack point. Let's go to, so the enemy currently, as we see it, and the cause of wildfires, and by the way, her kneeling and wearing kente cloth is a mockable act. So that's what we got so far. We've been listening for what, 3 minutes? Honestly, I wasn't going to do this today. This is, holy shit. What is wrong with these people?
Well, he tweeted the following with pictures and everything. The fires
with pictures and everything, yeah.
Across the West Coast are just the latest examples of the very real ways our changing climate is changing our communities. Protecting our planet is on the ballot. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Just a quick reminder that Obama was in office for 8 years.
Yeah, he got us into the Paris Accord, asshole. Tesla wouldn't exist. Electric cars largely got their biggest boost during the auto bailout because of the insistence of the Obama administration. What the hell are you talking about?
And
please, no. Feel free. Please double jump on the first black president 53 days before the election in defense of, well, are they any different from Trump, really? Really? Are they really different? I mean, really.
At least we could say Obama tried to, he did his best.
Yeah, that's not the look of a person who thinks he did his best. She's not buying it.
As far as the climate treaty, he tried to do at least something. At least we could say Barack Obama tried, and again, this is not the show for.
Okay, get Anna Kasparian to say he tried.
But the Dems' whole vote, the condescension of that messaging is.
What the hell are you talking? Look at this. Seriously, this is the left. And by the way, they got $100 million from YouTube to form their for the network for this. Christ almighty. What? I mean, honestly, at this point, Jimmy Dore must be pissed that they booted him because they're basically just following in his footsteps. What the hell?
Just killing me and my spirit worse and worse by the day because it's like what? They just want what? To save 800 immigrant kids a year from disappearing? It's just like they want to re-enter the Paris Accord. It's like they just want to, have a strategic policy so that we don't lose 400,000 Americans in a single year. It's like what? Where's the condescension in vote like it matters this time? And if you don't think it does, if you're like, I'm just not, I don't know, what's the difference between Trump? You're a frigging psychopath. Vote for what?
Go to joebiden.com/Joe's Vision. Read it, you dirtbag. Oh my God, both of them are assholes. And who's behind him over here? Who's this? Where are they? Both of these people are assholes.
Like, what are we voting for?
I don't even know. I mean, why bother?
I understand you want us to vote for Democrats, just blindly do it, but...
No, they don't. They have a platform. He signed a unity agreement with Bernie Sanders.
What are we voting for? Like, when they...
Just because you don't know what you're voting for, it doesn't mean we don't know what we're voting for. Okay, the Young Turks is awful. They're just awful people. Cenk, Anna, you're awful people. These are Trump enablers. That's what this is. They're trying to mute the vote between now and election. That's the only purpose. And I'm beginning to think that even their posts or titles that might draw liberals in, like, hey, Trump's an asshole, is really just to get you there so that they can dampen your vote.
Just say, go out and vote.
No, they don't say go out and vote. They're saying mail in your vote so you don't die because the guy currently running the country is an asshole. And you guys are like, but, is it really? I mean, what's the...
Oh, like, that's it. That's all you need to do. Because that's all that matters. It's like, what are people supposed to...
It's an election.
...be voting for? What are we moving people to vote for?
Go to Joe's Vision on his website. Read all of those things. Look at the unity manifesto, as Trump calls it.
People can just look outside of their windows, particularly here in Los Angeles, and just see like, wow, man, like climate change is actually affecting my life materially. Who's talking about this in a meaningful way that I can go out and vote for?
Biden, Harris, the hell is wrong with you?
The vote messaging is just so condescending and just
why is it all right?
Annoying at this point. It's ridiculous.
Right. And also...
Yeah, right. Right. Voting is ridiculous. Just telling people to vote, like having a get out the vote campaign is, it's just so condescending.
I mean, the underlying message there is go out there and vote for the candidate who promised his donors that nothing will fundamentally change, right? So
no, he didn't promise his donors that things wouldn't fundamentally change. He said the economy wouldn't fundamentally change because he's a capitalist, as are most Americans. Your guy lost. But that doesn't mean we allow credit default swaps. That doesn't mean we allow slavery.
It's,
what's the difference between, honestly, if things won't fundamentally change, we should just vote for Trump. Honestly, isn't that?
Okay, so just a
quick
tangent. Right now, there's all this focus on the revelations from Bob Woodward's book because Democrats just want negative stuff about Trump to latch onto.
Holy shit. What? The revelations from Woodward's book are not getting all this attention because they are materially important, but because, the Dems just want dirt on Trump. I mean, they're just really, they're just orange man bad at this point. Holy God. Okay, so let's go back, shall we? Let's have a little story while Anna's having a nap. I did Politicon a few years ago, and I was talking to Liz Winstead, and Anna was there as well. We were kind of chatting, and when Liz said we're all Bernie supporters or something like that, meaning the three of us, and I said actually I'm voting for Hillary in the primary, and she went ice cold and was an asshole the rest of the time. And P.S. she and Cenk were only hanging with Van Jones and Ann Coulter and that crowd the rest of the time in the dressing room. It was gross.
Because they don't want to offer any type of policy.
They don't want to offer it, guys. If you go to joebiden.com/Joe's Vision, you're not going to find anything. It's just a blank page. There is no strategy. There's no bills. There's no tax offering. When he spoke in front of that yesterday, or day before yesterday now, in front of the factory in Warren, Michigan, he didn't actually say anything. He just stood there. Did you hear the crickets? Oh my God.
That actually speaks to voters. It's
You're awful. You're just an awful person. Like at this point, this is just ridiculous.
like, no, we can't. We don't want to change things.
What are you talking about? We don't want to change things? So basically, Biden is Trump 2.0. So what's the difference? Just flip a coin.
But we want to get elected. And so we're just going to...
We want to get elected so that 800 children don't disappear a year just on our immigration policy. So the ACA isn't gutted. So pre-existing conditions still exist. So that that Trump doesn't undermine the entire funding mechanism of Social Security, killing a generation of elderly people. Do they? Okay. They have to just willfully not know what the policy is.
Onto all of the negative news that we can find on Donald Trump. Look, the negative news on Trump is valid. It certainly is. There's no question.
Oh, thanks. That's sweet of you.
But you got to think about what motivates people to take.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You have to inspire people, because if they're not inspired, it's not enough that he let 150,000 Americans die. I mean, can't we just cull the herd anyways? I mean, if you're going to have a national health service, you really kind of want to get rid of the sickest people first to make it financially viable as early as possible, right?
Time out of their day to cast a ballot. Right. And some people might think that's an easy process, but you need to inspire people. You need to give them something to vote for. And
I'm voting against you for Biden. How's that? And I can't not land on a face like that every time I pause. I don't know what's happening.
Really scared that Democrats, and particularly the Biden campaign, are just repeating the same mistakes over and over again.
I'm sorry. No. They're running a man this time because the misogyny and the Russian interference against the woman last time that you guys helped with is less effective.
Because they think that the last 4 years have been horrible enough to convince people to vote for Biden, even if...
And you don't think they have? You don't think they have? She doesn't...
He's not really offering much. I don't know. They might be right, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely confident. And I just wish that we had...
I wish that I could vote openly for Donald Trump.
A real candidate who actually does want change to vote for. Final person to touch on is Gavin Newsom. He's the governor of California. And so he had some
let's go after Gavin.
Strong words for climate deniers recently. Let's hear from him.
I quite literally have no patience for climate change deniers. It simply follows completely inconsistent that point of view with the reality on the ground, the facts as we are.
By the way, we love Gavin Newsom. I marched with Gavin Newsom from Harvey Milk Square to the Supreme Court building for marriage equality. He's a good dude.
So you may not believe it intellectually, but your own eyes, your own experiences tell a different story.
So there's nothing wrong with what Gavin Newsom said.
Aw, that's sweet of you to say. That's so nice. Isn't it nice? Guys, Anna's being so nice. She's being so nice.
That video. But the tough talk needs to be backed up with robust policy. And so I was
Yeah, he's really not doing anything, is he? I mean, is he really doing anything?
curious. I'm like, all right, well, what has Gavin Newsom done when it comes to climate change? And to be fair, I mean, the record's mixed. Greenpeace did a report on him, and here's what they found. In October of 2019, Newsom signed a bill to limit oil and gas development on state lands. On November 19th, 2019, Newsom's administration announced 3 actions to safeguard public health and the environment, advance California's goal to become carbon neutral by 2045, and manage the decline of oil production and consumption in the state. The move marks California as the first major fossil fuel producing region in the United States to seriously begin a process to manage the decline of fossil fuel production.
So far, so good.
And here's the important part. Although it remains to be seen how far these reforms will go in reducing oil and gas production. The ultimate impact of these proposed reforms is unknown, and on their own, they do not meet the level of ambition necessary to match this.
They're not the only things he's doing. They're creating an electric power grid for electric cars across the state. These aren't the only things. These are major things he did as governor.
Scale
Holy shit.
Of the climate and public health crisis. And so
no, they don't. You're right. California's actions will not solve climate change worldwide.
You know, I want to give him credit for the moves that he has made.
But he's a Democrat, and it goes against my DNA.
But the point here is that half measures, incremental change is simply not enough.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Just anybody who has a gas car, you can no longer drive it to work. Hi, poor people.
We're experiencing the ramifications of climate change right now. We're seeing it.
So we're going to set up big windmills to blow the dirty air offshore?
With our own eyes every day. And we need someone who's honestly going to have the courage to stand up to corporate interests and say, yeah, no, you can keep your
Okay, you can keep your gas
money. We're going to go ahead and pass policy that is necessary to save humanity on Earth. Like, there's no way that we're going to be able to survive on this planet if we keep making incremental changes.
Yeah, we are. But we have to make sure that, like, the Donald Trumps of the world don't get in office and scuttle all the incremental changes that we're making so that they have an impact. The other climate polluters, China, India, they're not stopping anytime soon. The governor of California is not 100% responsible for it.
Yeah, and I think the problem
and I think the problem with it is that he's a Democrat, and we really, you know, Schwarzenegger really, if you think about it, had a better record.
Like Pelosi, and to a
Pelosi, how do we bring her back into
to an
it?
extent, obviously, Gavin Newsom is, you know, and again, I'm no Karl Rove, but
I'm beginning to doubt that.
It seems to me that, of course, you should be tying certain things around the other side's necks when it comes to the atrocities committed during coronavirus, when it comes to climate denial, and then you can see, you know, the direct result of this climate denial. But, you know, part of the problem is, and again, I think it's ideological. Why wouldn't they be selling stuff like the Green New Deal as a jobs bill? Straight up, we're going to put Americans to work.
Biden is already is looking at a nationwide infrastructure and changing the entire federal auto fleet to electric, creating a grid across the country and nationwide broadband. Do you just not want to know?
In great jobs with great benefits.
Hi, dummy. All these things, both of you, morons. All this stuff is written down in dozens of places.
We're going to give y'all pensions. We're going to put money into...
Yeah, that's why Biden said built by union workers 2 days ago. Speech in front of Warren. Did you cover it? Did you listen to it?
Not only is this going to save the planet, it's going to put American people in dignified work. But
yeah, but what? But I didn't listen to Biden's speech in front of the UAW and their actual plan.
To me, it just seems like ideologically,
that you don't know what you're talking about?
Just don't want that. They don't.
Yeah, they that's what it is. I mean, honestly, they just want the world to burn. Ideologically, they do way better if they lose. Jesus Christ, just stopping this thing and starting it again is a nightmare. And they're just co-hosting this whole thing? Let's drop in and see what else they're saying.
Freaking master.
Oh, members get extra stuff.
At his job. And like to
wait, what? Are we talking? Did he just say Trump is a master at his job? Are we gonna? Is that what we're doing?
Hey everyone, welcome back to TYT.
Thanks.
Anna Kasparian and Wosny Lombre with you. You can find his work at The Athletic, where he is a culture and NBA writer. So we are going to talk about sports in a little bit. But before we do, Woz, you're getting more love in our member section. You're getting more love everywhere in every section of our comments.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, when they're translated from Russian. But sure.
Uno says, glad Woz is back. Glad to see another bro on the show. Shout out to TYT Sports. The Ethernet says, love the comment about poison apples. Absolutely. I thought that was really smart. And it's so true. Like, no one ever finishes that saying. Like, they just, yeah.
But a couple bad apples literally spoiled a bunch.
Like, they do. They do. Yeah, it's science. It's science. Yeah, we're doing science here, right?
Facts. Not.
They're picking up some other. I'm sure they're talking about cops.
Vicious.
I am not going to go on that show. They wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't have me. They're assholes who would rather see the country burn.
In our super chats.
See how awful it is outside? And all we did was talk 78,000 people out of voting for Hillary last time, because it would have been worse. Let's be honest. She would have kept us in the Paris Accord and it increased every environmental standard we had. And Donald Trump did kill 150,000 Americans. But I mean, are they really?
Says Schumer literally conjuring an image of the Three Stooges while calling out Republicans.
Schumer
on something so heinous. Wow, strong words. Yeah, this is.
Yeah, Schumer does nothing, guys.
We're dealing like we don't really have an opposition party. It's so frustrating.
And here's the thing, and I say this all the time. Like, I had my issues with Harry Reid, but that dude knew how to lead. He knew how to
Harry Reid
get stuff done. He understood politics. Like, he was a freaking
Yeah, who got the impeachment through? The HEROES Act just passed. How about the CARES Act?
Master at his job. And like to go from Harry Reid to Chuck Schumer is like I can't even describe it, man.
I know. And then from
yeah, like she likes Harry Reid.
Our Twitch section, Null Unit 40 donated 1,000 bits.
Whoa, 1,000 bits. Nobody ever donates 1,000 bits in mine, except when they do. And I don't even have $100 million and a bunch of money from Jeffrey Katzenberg.
On. And Jason Cisneros 24, yes, it's me. Saludos to everyone from South Texas. Thanks for making my night, Jank and Jaime. Is it really Jessica Cisneros?
Yeah, it totally is.
I don't know. That's pretty cool. Anyway, all right. Well, let's move on. We have more news to get to, and an unfortunate update in Tennessee. So, while an average of 1,000 Americans are dying every single day due to coronavirus, the state of Tennessee has decided to take some of their coronavirus funding and redirect it to police departments. I'm not kidding. So.
Yeah, whatever. Police training. Skipping ahead.
National anthem and the
sports
anthem.
Don't care.
Not that they're protesting police violence and brutality against Black and brown Americans. They frame it as they're protesting the anthem and we love the troops and blah, blah, blah. And now we've come full circle where we know nobody gives a damn about the troops. Nobody's protesting the flag. People are just upset about how the cops act in America.
Right. And
all All right. That's all I can take of this today. That's goofy. Yeah. So bizarre. Oh, look. Let's see what Jimmy Dore is saying while we're at it.
We do the tech. Is all done remotely.
His show is called. You want to see the title of Jimmy Dore's show? So, 2 days ago, Trump called our soldiers losers and suckers, and couldn't understand why they would even, what was in it for them. And then we found out that he lied to the American people, probably directly causing 150,000 excess deaths. What's Jimmy's show called today? Biden says he will increase the military budget.
Show today.
That was my feeling. Hey, I just want to let you know that John Dolan spent 6 months in Croatia.
I bet it's nice.
But it seems like it. And you know what people are saying? Like Healthy 1999 says Spain. I haven't been to Spain.
My brother went to Spain. My brother Tony went to Spain.
Oh, Tony. Your brother Tony.
He loved
Antonio.
He loved it. My niece lived there for a while, remember?
Yes.
My niece, she did this big pilgrimage where they...
By the way, did we see this? Wait. This is not me doing this. Look at that right there. 1,150... What denomination of money is that? What is that? 1,150 rubles. What the hell? Like, I'm shocked occasionally when I get some, when I got super chats from like New Zealand and a couple other places, or occasionally Canada. 1,150 rubles. Like, how out in the open can that possibly be? What is your take on fires and climate change? Could the corruption, more logging be the reason? Why do you despise nuclear, even though safe reactors? Google 4th generation.
No sense of humor for that shit that's actually funny, and they're no energy. Whatever. It's just...
Who?
But my crowd's a lot of energy, a lot of people excited.
Oh.
I'm
going to jump back to what he was, was he, it's
For the
live. They don't allow it to bounce back
get
yet.
some even go, along with some gin and a Xanax.
And then you've really...
Oh, and then I am ready.
You know what, Jimmy? I think Xanax just puts me to sleep.
I think it does.
Do? What does it do usually?
This is good. So yesterday we find out Trump killed 150,000 people. Jimmy is allegedly one of the big YouTube voices that is going to, protect us all from conservatives and Nazis and right wingers and all that kind of stuff. So far, so good.
Love it. I love taking a Xanax and then having a cocktail. What does it do for you, Jimmy? It takes away all my anxiety, and I can be who I really am. That's what it feels like.
Okay, that's a good piece of advice. Hi, kids. Yeah, take liquor with your sedative, and it will take away your anxiety. Why don't you just throw some hydroxychloroquine in there while you're at it?
Clutch cargo.
White knuckle? Are you white knuckling?
Yeah, underneath.
You can't
sometimes it's out in front, but it's underneath, and when I take a Xanax, so I had a diagnosed anxiety disorder in 1999, diagnosed, and I was in one of those they called the clinical
trials
depressions, which is way worse than
clinical depression. I got you.
Just feeling bad.
Oh, okay.
I felt horrible. I've lost gigs and money and had my heart broken. And not really. I broke my own heart once. But other than that, why are you looking at me
I'm
like
wondering
that?
what that one time was. Like, now I want to know.
Oh, okay.
This is disturbing. Thanks so much,
Jimmy.
But I had all, I've always put I'm just realizing now as I'm doing this Jung shadow work and all this stuff. I'm just now becoming conscious of all the
He's doing Jungian shadow work now?
unconscious pressure filled in my relationship with everyone.
Are we watching?
In every action I did, in the need to.
Wait a minute. Are we watching Jimmy become Dr. Gene Scott, Reverend Gene Scott?
Striving for perfection. Yeah. The super fear of getting things wrong. You missed that. Well, no, we got it pretty much everything right here. So thanks. And I'll fucking let you know it too, as Aramate says. And so when I take a Xanax.
Oh my God, this is frightening. No, I can't have this go out as like, this is it. These are the two biggest liberal / progressive anyways, channels on YouTube. Do you have any idea the amount of money that Jimmy Dore takes in every day? I mean, the dude makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And TYT does the same thing, but they also get like these big whales donating money. I'm not wasting a fart sound on that conversation. It's too much. Christ almighty. Ugh. Like that's the first time I've ridden by that stuff, like microdose of mushrooms. He makes rubles a year, yeah. I was asking earlier, can you give us a little, people over here, the truth on the polls over there? See so many different stories over here. Cheers. They're averaging 7.5% for 7.5 points for Biden right now as a national average. Putting all of them, all the wavering ones, the top and the bottom together, and then the main average ones, which don't vary all that much. The important thing is that it is 3.5 points outside the margin of error, depending on if they have a 4 or 3.5. I average it at 3.5 margin of error as well. Yeah. So, in and of itself, it looks good. It's going to be the battleground states again, no matter what. I mean, there's a lot of lockdown on the votes this time. So red states that have been red are going to stay red. They're, Tennessee's going to go the way it's going to go. Just understand that. Basically, you're going to see Biden play a very conservative game. He'll go after Trump really hard because he's genuinely pissed off. But you're going to see him come out, give direct remarks dealing with something. And what they're pushing is a return to sanity and safety. And that's part of the sale. Hal is my go-to for input. Oh, thanks, you guys. And I'm here all by myself. I don't have a curtain and a strange, angry person or someone in a box in in a dressing room pretending you're doing social distancing when they're not, because they're not. I should change the push-up reward for a fart sound. It's not a bad idea. Although I would set it to come at like 10 minutes, like 20 seconds after I do it, so it would sound like I'm farting while I do push-ups. I mean, I think that would be worthwhile, right? Right, Tone Guy? Oh, indeed. Lots of people could be in a box. At least Biden stays on track. Well, that's exactly it. Like, he's got his schedule, he's got his speech, he's got his remarks, and that. Oh, here you go. Let's do this. So, this might make everybody feel better. This is a good ending for this. Biden on CNN Tapper. Whoops. Typing is still crap. The whole interview on there. It seems 8 minutes. That's a pretty solid one, right? Hold on. Right. Go here. This is Biden on Jake Tapper's show.
Welcome back. You just heard President Trump once again giving more oxygen to a story dominating the news and one the Biden campaign is frankly eager to discuss. I was in Michigan with the Democratic presidential nominee to ask him about his record on trade, China, taxes, which we will get to in a moment. But he also had a lot to say about those tapes. First, I asked him about President Trump's interview with Bob Woodward, and here was his reaction.
And so what was President Xi saying yesterday?
Well, we were talking mostly about the...
Oh, by the way, guys, they play this clip before Biden, but they ran it during the interview, but Biden and Tapper don't listen to it. They've just front loaded it, and then they go, we're going to play it, and then we'll ask you on the other side. But neither one of them heard it.
Virus.
I guess Tapper might have had an earpiece in on his upstage side, but...
And I think he's going to have it in good shape, but it's a very tricky situation.
Indeed,
it goes
Queen
through.
Faye, I got one of those as well. I got a robocall.
It's always tougher than the touch. The touch you don't have to touch things, right? But the air, you just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus.
Hello to your daughter.
People don't realize.
Study your math and science, even when you're doing it from home. Just saying.
We lose 25,000, 30,000 people a year here. Who would ever think that, right?
I know. It's
pretty amazing. And then I say, well, is that the same thing? This is more deadly. This is 5 per... this is 5% versus 1% and less than 1%. So this is deadly stuff.
It's disgusting. We learned this on the day that we turned 190,000 Americans dead, and he knew this. I understand he had just gotten off the phone when he did the first interview with Woodward. He'd just gotten off the phone with Xi Jinping, where he's praising Xi Jinping about transparency, and this is nothing to worry about, and this is going to go away like a miracle.
Well, the way that President Trump explains it, and he said this to Woodward on March 19th, if you take a listen.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes,
because I don't want to create a panic.
He said something similar this afternoon. He said he didn't want to create a panic. That's why he downplayed it. He said leadership is about confidence.
Yeah, and that's why we have no confidence in his leadership. I mean, you saw what Columbia Medical School pointed out in March. Had he acted 1 week earlier, there'd be over 31,000 more people alive. Added 2 weeks earlier, it would have been 50-some thousand still alive. This caused people to die. And what did he do the whole time? He acknowledged that you breathe it, it's in the air, and he won't put on a mask. He's talking about it's ridiculous to put on masks. What do you need social distancing for? Why have any of these rules? It was all about making sure the stock market didn't come down.
Silver Mask is asking, didn't they say that was actually from February as opposed to March? The first clip is from February. The follow-up clip was from March.
That is what?
Which means that he's known about it the entire time, and he's being asked, like, why did you... We talked in February, and you seemed to know it was a threat, and now you're talking out of your ass and saying it's going to go away. That was part of what Woodward asked him. And his response was, well, I was playing it down on purpose in public, and I'm continuing to play it down.
The friends didn't lose any money, and that he could say that, in fact, anything that happened had nothing to do with him. He waved a white flag. He walked away. He didn't do a damn thing. Think about it. Think about what he did not do. And it's almost criminal.
Woodward also reports that former Defense Secretary James Mattis said that Trump, quote, has no moral compass, and that even floated collective action with Dan Coats, the director of national intelligence, because Trump is, quote, unfit. Woodward also says that Coats couldn't shake the suspicion.
Wait, where did Jake Tapper go? He just disappeared. Now Clark Kent is here. I'm so confused.
That Putin had something on Trump. What do you make of this from his advisors?
I think Trump has just stunned everyone around him. It's just how corrupt his thinking is. I mean, think about this. Remember he said under oath, not under oath, I shouldn't say that, said to the American public that he didn't get that briefing on how dangerous coronavirus was. He didn't get that from the Intelligence Committee. He never read the reports. He didn't have anything to do with that. He saw the reports. He knew them in detail. At least we know he can read. Why in God's name didn't he move quicker on the Defense Production Act to provide PPP, the protective equipment for
PPE, but I've made that same mistake. So
doctors and first responders? Why didn't he do that? Okay, he says he didn't want to panic people. Well, at least make sure everybody has the equipment they need. Just say this is just excess of caution. He didn't even do that.
I have relatives all over the country and all over the political spectrum.
They're at a Ford plant in Warren, Ohio. This was after his remarks. He did this interview.
How do you make the argument to a relative I have in Texas who says, yeah, this virus is horrible, but it's not Trump's fault, it's China's fault?
Let's assume we'll take both that relative's points. It's China's fault. If it's China's fault, why did Trump praise China? Why did he say how transparent Xi Jinping and the Chinese are going to be? Why did he insist that the 44 people we had there, and while I and others are insisting that they go in and have access to see really what is happening, to know the detail, why did he not insist on that? And the virus is not his fault, but the deaths are his fault because he could have done something about it, Jake. I'd say to your uncle, he could have done something about it, but he said nothing. He didn't talk. He said there's no need for social distancing. Don't bother wearing masks. He actually went so far as to suggest that it was a violation of American freedom to maintain you had to wear a mask. And look what's happened. Again, 190,000 dead and climbing. And what's he doing now? He still has not moved. Look at the schools that are not opening. School, we talked, I know you have young children. Well, guess what? They're starting off school like they ended last year at home. But think of all the people who don't have the resources to do that. Think of the choice the single mom has to make. Am I going to go to my $7 an hour job and or stay home with my kid? I can't afford anybody.
One other revelation from the book is that Trump appears to have revealed a new classified U.S. weapons system, the existence of it, to Woodward. He said, quote, I have built a weapon system that nobody's ever had in this country before, unquote. Woodward says his sources confirmed the existence of this classified weapons system. What's your response to that?
I can't speak to the system, but it's not a surprise. You wonder why people in the Intelligence Committee wondered from the very beginning whether you could share data with him. Mm-hmm. Because they don't trust him. They don't trust what he'll say or do. He seems.
By the way, can I just say, it's a bad phrase, but this is the best I've seen Joe look.
Conception. I know I sound, but he seems to have no conception of what constitutes national security. No conception of anything other than what can he do to promote himself. This is the guy who said maybe the way to deal with hurricanes is drop a nuclear bomb on them. Seriously, he said it.
I know.
God. Or, the problem with the Revolutionary War was they didn't have enough airports. It's beyond my comprehension, but what really bothers me, you wrote a book about frontline. You wrote a book about Afghanistan. I was in one of those FOBs, those forward operating bases. These guys lose their lives, they risk their lives in a way that you cannot imagine to try to keep things bad from happening. And he calls them losers? He calls them suckers? My son volunteered to go as the assistant U.S. attorney in Philadelphia to go into Kosovo. He was there 6 months. They erected a monument to him, thanking him for his service. I think the only American that they did that for. Mm-hmm. And was he a sucker? And
yeah, his cough is gone. That's a good point.
He volunteered as a U.S. attorney.
He's so far off base. How is he off base?
General of the state of Delaware to go with his unit to Iraq for a year, and he was a sucker. He won the Bronze Star, conspicuous service. And all the people with him, the people who died, they're suckers. I can't fathom. They're heroes. They really are heroes. Duty, honor, country. He talks about, can you repeat 4 words in a row or whatever, his little IQ test or dementia test he took. Ooh. He doesn't understand duty, honor, service, country. He doesn't get it. Or if he gets it, he doesn't care about it. And his stability. He should not be, unrelated to my running, he should not be the commander-in-chief of the United States military. It's just, no commander-in-chief's ever acted like this man.
Whoa. Yeah, that's pretty solid. That's good. That's a good 4 solid trolls in there of him. A solid hit. Yeah, it's true. I didn't thank the trolls who are showing up today for padding our numbers. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah. He's like, this is all solid stuff. And by the way, let's just, can we, just for the Young Turks fans who are dicking around in the interwebs, we'll go to, hold on this, okay, pulling up a page. There we go. Joe's Vision. There you go. So, just in case you're looking for something to vote for, because it's not enough to vote against Donald Trump. I mean, what's the real difference? Bold ideas. Build back better. Jobs and economic recovery for working families. Build back better. Racial equity across the American economy. Build back better. 21st century caregiving and education workforce. Sustainable infrastructure and a clean energy future. Made in all of America by all of America's workers. So they're looking for racial equity in the Made in America category as well. Roadmap to reopening schools. COVID-19 plan. Plan for full participation and equality for people with disabilities. The Biden agenda for women. Joe's proposal to set up support for deserving small businesses. 4-point plan for essential workers. Plan to scale up employment insurance. Excuse me. I got his cough just doing it. The Biden plan for bankruptcy reform. The Biden plan for combating coronavirus. Lift every voice. The Biden plan for Black America. The Biden plan for Central America. The Biden plan for immigration. The Biden plan for veterans. The Biden plan for military families. For encouraging unions and empowering workers. For campaign finance and government reform. For education beyond high school. For ending gun violence. For violence against women. For criminal justice reform. For rural America. For Americans in retirement. For healthcare. For American leadership. Climate change. LGBTQ plus economy, equality. Housing. Education. Opioids and substance abuse disorders. The Catholic community. Students, the Black community, the AAPI community, the Indian American community, the Jewish community, the Muslim American communities, the commitment to Indian country, the Latino community, in middle-class competitiveness, the plan for environmental justice, Joe Biden and the Arab American community, a plan for partnership. So all these assholes are like, I mean, really? Anna, it's so true. It's so true, Anna. Vote for my dad because Anna likes him. Hold on, let's. I'll go back to those eventually. I was gonna do a short show, and now we're already at the tail end of it. Yeah, Biden. No, Trump did not bring 200 auto plants to Michigan. That's insanity. They brought 3 and another one left. So there have been 2 additions. It's not that different from, let's see. Do you want to talk about all the plants that were saved during the Obama-Biden administration, during the auto bailout, which Trump was against? Where are all those auto plants that are being put together if, or that are being put there if there's no auto bailout? Right? Here's why Trump is facing speculation on that he's on drugs. Oh boy. This is a fairly consistent refrain as well. Who was that? Jennifer, thank you for the Venmo. Motang Woola in the Venmo. Thank you so much. Here's some of the people are saying. I said it 1,000 times. Everything that comes out of that man's mouth is either a confession or a projection. That's when he's talking about the Biden being on drugs thing. Trump is definitely on drugs. Trump is now saying Biden is so good as a candidate he must be on performance enhancers. Not exactly a confident thing for a candidate to say. 2, Trump may as well be confessing his own drug use. As always, he accused others of what he does. That's Seth Abramson. yeah, that's going to be an increasingly difficult thing for him. The reality, I think, I know. Oh, sorry, tip jar filled. Thank you guys for filling it up. I tried to empty it on the other thing and the thing. I'll work on it. It's good stuff. In the meantime, but by the way, thank you guys for joining me on Twitch. I am working on setting up a separate YouTube page that will be able to stream the show. I've got to fly away. That's fun. And then, so we'll be back running on all 4 cylinders again. Do it. Why won't you? Yes. So, and I've been working on that for a little bit. I just decided that really the only way to handle this situation was to create a backup channel in case it happens again. And then I was like, you know what? Might as well just stream on its own channel starting from scratch. And by the way, and largely made that decision to try for it and just go for it in that regard because we have a. Why am I out of focus? It's so. Shouldn't be out of focus like that. I guess this is such a narrow focus. There you go. I think it's better. I think it's because I lean back too far. My hair's a mess today. Sorry. But let's see. I'm gonna. We made, thanks to you guys, we made partner on Twitch. So we reached the highest. Reach the upper level. Your mind, body, and soul must be one. It's a sacrifice. It takes hard work. It's a way of life. Anybody? The Glow? Anybody know where that song is from? Anybody know? I would be shocked. Please tell me you know where that's the song The Glow is from. So yeah, so to get some of the benefits, when you got the glow, you feel as though you're gonna go. It's the power of elevation. Talk about that glow. Can't Stop Lying and For the Win. Last Dragon. You are the last dragon. You have got the meaning of the glow. Or you've got the power of the globe. Shine on. Yes, so Twitch partnership, Will Baker's refused it clearly. So we've reached that level, we've reached that upper level, and they're supposed to let me know when I've applied for it, and they follow up. So you guys got to stick with me, at least till they give me a yes, so I can continue to grow in that area. And you can always stay over here. Yes, Venmo. When you got Venmo. There you go. Boop. I can't point. It's terrible. Who's the baddest? Who's the prettiest? Show enough. He passed away not too long ago, but Timac is still with us. Yeah. That's the Soul Glow. It totally is. Crybaby was a terrible movie. I don't know. With you for. Ah, thanks, Susie. What does Motang mean? Yesterday, Trump tried to say Mustang and Motown at the same time and came up with Motang. I'll get the audio clip of it. I think Can't Stop Lying, let's see, gave it to me. I think we have it in there somewhere. Let me see if it'll open up for me on here while we're at it. House Sparks branded Twitch shirt. It's a good idea. I'm for it. See, back here, I think there's a new video drops. There we go. 9:10. There we go. 9:10. See if this is on here. If it'll play it in here. It might. Hold on. Waking up takes a minute. We'll play it, you silly goof. I'm working on it. Hold on. Come on, Dropbox, you can do it. Let's see. Whoops. That's not the right one, you goof. What's happening? There we go. I've got to download it for it to play. Rats of rabble dabble. What the heck? All right. More. Download. Play it in here. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Now, as soon as I do that.
Motang. Motang.
Motang. Hold on. It's opening it in my music, so it'll play it over and over and over again. It's an annoying part of Apple, I will say, is that you download something and it wants to go immediately. Hey, let's see. Well, I'll wait on this. So give me a second. I'll drag this in here. Take that guy, put it in here, and see if it'll play. Did it go? What's happening? There we go.
Motang. Motang. Motang.
Motang. Motang. Oh my God! So he was trying to say Motown and Mustang, and he came up with
Motang.
So person, woman,
Motang.
camera, TV. We're the Motang clan. That's what we should call ourselves. Oh my God! So good. Oh yeah, fortuity when he had trouble. Yeah, I like people who can write good. That was fun. That was a good time yesterday as well. Seasons don't fear the Motang. Seasons don't fear the Motang. Nor do the wind and the sun and the rain. You can be like Motang. Come on, Motang.
Can write good. Can write good.
Can write good. We'll put more of those in there. All right, it's 5 o'clock. I'm going to sign off, give you guys a break, because last night we went very late. And then tomorrow I've got radio, 9 to 11 a.m., the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide, which is also the House Sparks Radio podcast, Mega Worldwide, on the Sexy Liberal Podcast Network. You can go to sexyliberal.com and get it there. And thank you guys for your support and your Venmo love, and for all your the new Patreon folks that are joining now that we opened the $20 thing again, which is so great. Bless you. For all of you that are going to do it like an annual one, that's amazing. Bless you and thank you so much. And we'll see you tomorrow. I apologize for Anna Kasparian and Jimmy Dore being on the show today, but it was a necessary evil, I think, in a lot of ways. And we may jump on them a little bit more with both feet because they deserve it, I think. Yeah. Do we have to go out with a little soup, do you think? Do we need that?
Bags of soup.
Do we need bags of soup?
That's amazing. How did you do that? Bags of soup.
Clearly.
Soup for my family. They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
All right. So have a great night, Motang gang. And I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, soup and carrots all the time.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Carrot. People coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup.
Carrot soup. If I didn't know this was carrots, if I didn't know this was rabbit, I'd swear it was carrots. Hal, did you have to do the We Like Dick clip? Oh, yeah. I don't know. Did we grab that one? I will look. I think we might have. Yeah. Jesus. This is so... I mean, it's like an avalanche. All right. You guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of somebody else. We'll see you tomorrow. Send out some love. Hunker down, as Dr. Fauci says. Plan for it to take longer than you think. It's better for your mental well-being in those cases. I really think so. I mean, it's always helped me get through the down times career-wise, because the 90s, I called those the Sisyphus years, and largely because it was work all the time. I'm like, it's going to take longer than I think, and as long as I know that, I won't lose hope. If you think it should be over by now, that's part of the problem. And which is, by the way, part of Trump's leadership problem as well. If he'd have been more honest up front, a lot of the things suicide and alcohol and drugs that he talks about, none of that would have been as big a problem, because people would have gone, oh, okay, it's not just me. It shouldn't be over by now, right? So take care of yourselves. Oh, you want to see what I found in my move that was here? My Bluetooth speaker. Hold on. I'm gonna get in trouble. All right. So that's so yeah, it's a Bluetooth speaker, but it also plays that and stuff, and it's got a clear mount, so you can. I think I'm gonna hang it on the wall like this, so it looks like it's flying on this. Yeah, super nerd alert. I've had this forever. I've had this 15 years, whenever it first came out. Yeah. Yeah, the Motang Falcon. It totally is the Motang Falcon. So, all right, I'm going to show off like one thing that oh, here's another thing real quick. Well, this is the last thing before I go. This is a Buddha I picked up in Thailand. So I collect Buddhas when I travel. So when I go to Chinatown and like in any particular city, even if I'm in Germany or something like that, I'll pick up those. Oh, thanks, Theoretical. And so I have a lot of like Buddhas this size as a way of like getting them. And this one, like I usually will write on the bottom where I got them, but this one actually had a sticker that said made in Thailand because it was in Thailand, so it was easy to remember. But I always write where I got them so that I can kind of go, oh, this is this one. I got this one, and it starts off. It's a good way to like kick off a story. Nice Buddha, thanks. I just had it stuffed. Yeah, it was totally made in Thailand. So, and I don't know whose phone number that is. There's a number on the bottom of it. Don't call it. But yeah. So, anyways, this is. Yeah, I have a bunch of Buddhas, like little ones and kind of medium-sized ones, and that's my one little gathering thing. The other thing I do when I'm traveling is I buy kitchen utensils, pots and pans and stuff, so that while I'm cooking, I can go, oh, I got this spatula in Austin, Texas, and blah 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 blah. It's a good way to start it. It is 8675309. That's right. So when you're traveling, there's a tendency to get stuff with like a T-shirt with the name of the place on it or those kind of things, or a piece of artwork. I always get something that I always need at home so that I have that and I use it and I talk about it. Like I've got a bunch of wooden spoons for stirring and cooking, and those are all from all over the world and all over the country and all over Canada and that kind of thing. It's just once we're traveling again, it's a little. Yeah, all right, that's enough. Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself. I'll see you. Bye.
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
We need you. Hell, I need you. I'm a mess without you. I miss you so damn much. I miss being with you. I miss being near you. I miss your laugh. I miss your sense. I miss your musk. When this all gets sorted out, I think you and me should get an apartment together.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
Butthole!
Man's got to know his limitations.
That was really cool, by the way.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
I love Leia.
I guess what I learned most of all was that you should always take responsibility for your actions, unless you don't have to.
Thank you, Doc. Ever serve time? I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Call me Snake.
I'm just a happy camper.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. I'm dead sexy.
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
Geez, you're real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
Diet Coke! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my underground lair.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Amer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
Why don't you just sit there and bleed a while before you taste some real pain?
I'm your huckleberry.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
I'm a land farmer, motherfucker!
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
Leon's getting larger!
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
Did have shake. So that's the kind of fight it's gonna be.